Hello and welcome to a deck mod. Now, if you are here last week, you saw that I did the flip through, I'm sorry, of the Mystic palette. I always wanted to do this when I got this deck as soon as I did, because I realized that first of all, it's a very long deck. If you see it, it's a very long. You need, like, I have long fingers, but even like I'm pushing it when I go like this to do some shuffling, and it kind of just stretches out my hand so much that I find it a little bit long. Now, when you do any deck modifications, there's a few things that you really have to look at, okay? You can't just like start cutting willy-nilly, because sometimes you end up with stuffs. Some decks, they're cut unevenly. Sometimes the numbers aren't always at the same spot. You're going to get a very easy deck to do this with, I find, in this case, because there's a lot of room at the top and the bottom. I could cut just one side and then just modify the top of the deck, which would probably be better, I guess, in some ways, because there's less room to make mistakes that way, I find anyway. The less you cut, the better the chances that you're going to be okay. But if you do cut from both sides, then there are chances that mistakes will be made, okay? And you have to be okay with that, because it may happen. As you know, as well intended as you are, things happen, okay? After I'm done modifying these, I'm going to color the outside. I'm going to edge them. I'm going to do this deck pretty much the way that I did the Enchanted Dream. This is my Enchanted Dream modified. Now, if you look at it, it's got a nice edging of this blue that I put in. It had, I think it was silver on the outside, silver edging, like foil, silver foil edging, which was, it was very prickly. It hurt. I didn't like it much. Plus the cards were pretty long as well. And if you can see, I actually modified them. They're very similar. They're very similar in the way they bend. So that's the other part. The shorter the cards get, the less they will bend. But these cards are very thin. So is the Sierra Marchetti. So I don't think that modifying them will make a difference. You have to keep that in mind as well, because sometimes the deck is you can shuffle it okay at the size it is. I'll give you an example. I modified this one, the Wisdom of the Oracle, because I hated the white borders. I thought they were gaudy. I didn't like it on the pictures. I wanted the pictures only. But I took a chance, because this is a very, like, the cards are very, they're different, you know, was it GPM is what they call it or something? I don't know, anyway. So, you look here, it's a little bit less than before, than the bigger decks, because there's less surface, right? So you've got to take that into consideration. I don't see a lot of people talking about that. That makes a difference. So I'm going to be doing quite a few little bits. I'm not going to do it all in one day, but I'm going to start by finding how much I want to take off. And like I said, I'm looking at the cards right now, and I see a lot of people don't want to be cutting off the image. Now at the bottom, there is, but there's not a ton. It's just like colors. Okay, even here at the bottom, it's like a dark. Same here, and the number is up here. So cutting at the bottom would be good. Well, I mean, would be fantastic. Some of the numbers I feel are a little higher than the others. And if you look at the king, it's really up. But if you look, there's not much. Look at the bottom. It's not much. Even if you cut off, you're not really taking away that much from the imagery. So, but I would like also the backs to remain kind of framed in the middle. For some people, it doesn't really matter. I just think that it makes it look more still like less modified, if that makes any sense. and more centered. So just, I like a centered deck. So I will take the chances by modifying the top and the bottom. Now I looked at other people doing it, and this cutter is a very good one. Okay, you want something that cuts really straight, not, you know, that you got to cut 2 or 3 times, because you don't want to bend the card, you don't want to screw up the card. And you're going to need a rounder cutter, or rounder corner, I guess. I've had 2. This one I find is the better one. The other one got really, was not sharp enough and was just munching the corners and not really doing anything. So this is the one that I use, and it's got 3 different sizes. Now if you're cutting like one side and you don't know, you know, you don't know what the size, like you're only cutting one side but you gotta round the corners, all you have to do is just match it to the top. See, in this case it isn't, it's actually a large, it's a large round. There's medium and small. In this case, I could actually do it any one that I want, because I'm going to be cutting the top and the bottom. So I could pick to change whichever size I wanted, but I think I'm going to keep them to the bigger ones. I think I did with this one, as you can see. See? I kept them very, very round. And I do believe with this one that I cut all around, because I wanted to get rid of that silver foil. And this one now shuffles really, really nice. See? I can put my hands and it shuffles a lot better. It's just, it's more, I feel like it's more of an oracle deck size, the regular ones. Some artists, I know that they want to give us a bigger, to make a bigger palette. In this one, there's a few that I had to make decisions, and there's a few here, I'm not going to have to do that, but there's a few here that don't, the backs don't match. You will see, I think it's this one. Just look. Do you see? It's not, or is it? Wait a minute. There's a few here where the moon is a little lower. I had to make a decision to keep some of the picture. But I rarely look at that when I'm shuffling, so it didn't really make a big difference. I think there's one, I remember there's 1 or 2 where I had to make that decision. And it was okay. Like it didn't, or is it this deck? Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't this deck. Sometimes you have to make those decisions. Do you want your backs to look all the same, or do you want to commit to the artwork? I rather keep what's inside the deck than outside the deck. I try to get to do both if I can, but if not, it's okay. Now I know there's controversy. Some people say you shouldn't modify a deck, but it's, sometimes I love the deck so much, but I can't use it because there's just, I don't know, there's just, it's just too much. I just feel overwhelmed when I'm using it. So I just rather be able to use the deck, right? And I got the edge in a beautiful blue color that was much nicer, and it's not nice and soft, and I can use the deck much more than I used to. So I'm not unhappy with it, and this is why I'm showing you how to do it. If you have decks in your collection that you actually just love, but you just, there's something about them, either they're, I don't know, you can't stand the border on it, you just, they're too big, and you want to work it. This, I feel, is one of the solutions that you can have. This wasn't a very expensive deck. I think I paid $27 on Amazon, and it was on special. I think it's more now. It's not that price matters, but, you know, I don't know if I'd do that with an $80 deck. Probably not. But, yeah, I'm very picky when I spend that much money on those, right? There you go. So I'm going to begin. I'm going to decide where I'm going to make the mods on these. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little bit at the bottom, a little bit at the top. And then I'm going to set up my board here. the important part is to have a stop place that is the same every time, and to also be doing the cards in the same side every time, and then to do the other side and do the same as well. You don't want this to be moving at all, because that's when yeah, you run into problems. And I would say commit to doing it all, like doing in one go, because you don't want to be starting and then lose your train or your motion. That's when, if you come back to it, if something moved or whatever, you get distracted. So commit to doing at least one side, cutting off one side and then the other in one sitting. Okay, so I'm back. All right, so I have a piece of cardboard that I'm going to use as a stopgap here on the side. I've decided the size that I'm going, it's going to be this. Now I've decided that less is more. That's the next thing I wanted to tell you. I could have gone up to here and taken off more, but I may end up deciding that that's too much. I would rather take a little less and then redo it, because it's the old thing. You can take more off, but you can't put anything back on. So yeah, it's better to be safe. Another thing that I forgot before I go further is that you want to check every card so that you don't end up with surprises. You want to make sure that all the numbers are where they're supposed to be, that there's enough room, because sometimes printers, they do some weird stuff and you end up like having cards that just don't, match up sometimes. So it's important to go through every single card, check the top and the bottom, see what you're going to be cutting off approximately, and make sure that that's okay with you, okay? But make sure you look, see there's a little bit, I have room. And I think by taking off less, I won't be cutting off any of this. I might just, just skirt the top, which is good for me. Absolutely. Like I said, sometimes less is more, and if you're taking from both sides, it'll add up. Yeah, so just make sure you check every single card. I did that one time and I didn't. I thought everything was the same, and whoa, did I get a bad. This is something everybody. I'm just trying to help you out here so that you don't have that same problem, okay? The next thing I'm going to tell you here is have fun while you're doing this. This is not a chore. This is fun, okay? This is like a pastime. Something you're doing, a labor of love, if you want to call it. See, this isn't going to make me sad a little bit. I'm going to cut off some of the tigers, but I'm still going to have the eyes. So I'm okay with that, and I do have the tiger down here. So I'm going to sacrifice that, okay? But like I said, you might have gotten there and thought, oh, I don't want that, and then decide to take more off the bottom, okay? So that's an individual decision. So, like I said, and this at the top, not too bad. But I still keep all of that, so that's okay. See, there's some things that are going to end up like this top. I'm probably going to lose this part here. This is kind of sad. This is a sadness for me, because I really like that. But if I do that, I may not lose as much as I think. So it's not so bad. We'll just keep looking, okay? So go through every card. Make sure that you know what you're giving up. What's going to disappear on the card. I won't lose the fish. I'm good. Okay. So just, keep looking. This too, you can even put it. It's, there's some I wish I didn't lose, but it's okay. You still can, ooh, his head's pretty close to the top, but I think I'll be okay. So you just gotta take a look, make sure, okay? So this is sky. There's almost like a face though there. I don't think, that's weird. That's okay. He's kind of spooky. I won't mind getting rid of him. Okay, so there you go. Just, there you go. Okay, so like I said, it's individual. Make sure the cards are all the same side. Now we're gonna put the cardboard. Like I said, there needs to be some kind of a lip. I'm gonna explain why. Because when you put the cards down to be cut, they're gonna need something to okay, they're gonna need something to see. If it was too skinny, like with no lip, like not enough lip, it could just go above it. Now the other thing I'm going to tell you is to get really good tape when you're doing this. Okay, so the important part is that it's glued down. Like as you see that my piece is a lot bigger, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to glue the top and the bottom to keep it in place. I have this really big tape. Oh, I just tried to cut myself with that. Be careful, that's very sharp as well. So I'm just going to put it down for now. And I'm going to get a few pieces of tape and secure it down. Okay? So I don't have the best scissors here. And I usually have tape on this and then I take it off. I had a line before that I used, so it's in between these two. And I just need it to stay there. So I'm going to do that. And just hold it down, okay? But I'm going to, as well, put it here. See, I didn't really want to do that, but let's see. What I want to do is I want to make sure that the tape is flat on the side. Okay? What I wanted to do is just secure it here and not really on the side here, but it did touch there, so I decided to do it, and that's fine. You can rearrange it if it's not done properly. You can look at it and fix it after. Now I'm going to tell you it's better to choose on a line. On the line itself that's on the board, because if it's off by a little bit, it's gonna look a little wonky. Okay, so but I don't want a line, I want in between, so I'm gonna try and do it as straight as I can. What's important is if you have this, that it's as straight as it can be, that this is a straight line. I would suggest even like a wooden ruler. Those work well too. Okay, might be a little long, hard to, but if you want to cut a wooden ruler so that it's you're able to glue it down on the board, that would work too. Just commit to have it for just this, right? So now I'm gluing the bottom part, and like I said, this, I want to make sure that it's really held down well. Okay, so I'm doing it very badly here. I feel like I'm doing a very bad example. But it will be secure. Believe me, we're going to be able to move it in a minute. Now what I do, the next part, and I'm going to explain why. Of course, I have to cut like a piece that goes south, right? I don't know. Okay, so what you want to do, alright, so I'm just going to cut this piece right here. Okay, so get good scissors. I'm gonna tell you right now, good scissors are probably a good idea, okay? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I am going to actually put the piece of tape, I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to put the piece of tape right on the table itself, like here, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to really glue it down, snug, and then I'm going to do this right here, okay? Now you're going, why are you doing that? Now, do you see what's happening? The piece of tape is kind of like that, okay? Why am I doing that? Easy. Because when you're going to be doing your cards, okay, just to glue it down on a, and you want it to be right snug on the side, okay? You want it to be snug on the side. And that's the important part. Make sure that it is. Make sure that there is no, okay? I know, it's a lot, but this, see, it ensures it's not moving. It's not moving. What it does is it ensures that you don't have to find your line every time you put a card in here, and that every time you cut a card is going to be at the exact same line, which ensures that your cards are going to be cut exactly the same every single time. And yes, this part is long, but it saves you a lot, okay? Make sure that it's like snug on the border right here. And make sure that you have like a guide here. Make sure that the guide looks like it's cutting the card straight. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't look like it's cutting it sideways. And you can take a look. You can really like take a look. Or what I do is I turn it this way and check. See what I mean? Now, if the card wasn't properly, I'm going to show you, let's say it wasn't sitting properly and it looks something like this, you understand? See, it's a lot bigger this side, a lot of smaller on the other side. Then you would be able to just fix it. But in this case, it looks pretty good. And as you can see, I'm not taking a whole lot, but I'm going to be taking not a whole lot from both sides. And guaranteed, it will probably make a world of difference without jeopardizing too much the image. Now, I initially was going to make it a lot shorter. But we're going to start with that. And having done this, I'm confident that this is secure. I might put another piece right here of tape to just make sure that it's secure. And then we're going to begin. We're just going to take every card and cut one side. And like I said, enjoy yourself. This is a project, right? I'm not a crafty person, but I love my cards. And I love to be able to use my cards and put them on rotation. And if there's something that bothers me about the card, they're less likely to be in rotation. So I'm going to only put it at the bottom here because I don't want it to disrupt. Okay. And this time I'm going to put it this way. And then I'm going to put it like that. And even if it's not snug here, it's not a big deal. It's for support. See, this is not moving. If I would do that, it would, but I don't need to do that. It is secure here, it is secure here, and now I can begin. So I might just do this a lot more quickly for you, now that I've showed you just how to do it. I'm going to put a little music in the background and enjoy myself. Let's have a drink. And next thing is make sure that all your cards are on the same, you're cutting the same side. You're cutting the same side, okay? So, how am I going to do this here? So, this way and that way. I'm just going to make room. Alright. Let's begin. And always there and there, okay? Make sure, like that, and then hold it down. There you go, and you began. You have started, okay? So you're saying there's not much here. There isn't, but you're going to get two like this, okay? So I'm going to put this one here, and I'm going to go to the next one. Okay. So when you're done, when you do end up cutting the other side, you're probably going to have this much of the card gone. Okay? So that's enough. Like, that's a lot. But we'll see. If we need to make changes, we will. So here we go. Let's do. You have 78 cards. So that means you're going to have 100 and, what is it, 156? 156 when you're done? Yep, 156. Here we go. Let's do 78. Alright, so we are done. We have taken off all of the the bottom ends of these cards. Now, what I like to do is I like to set them all. Now, this won't be a problem. See how nice they are? Of course they're straight, okay? This is good. They look straight. The trick, though, is to do the other side so that they remain straight. That's the trick, okay? But you're off to a good start if they're all straight on this side, on this end, okay? I realize it doesn't look like I took off very much, but already the cards feel a little bit better. And taking off another little strip will make them feel even better, okay? It's about comfort for your hands. It really is about comfort. So, it didn't take that long. I'm just going to take a drink. I'm going to now take this out. And figure out where my cards should go. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to kind of put the card here and see approximately where it needs to go. So yeah, it needs to go to this line this time. Okay. So, if it's not completely accurate, you're the only one who's really going to know, okay? I mean, in other words, if you, take a little bit more, let's say if you took like a hairline more, as long as your the line that you create here is all the same. Okay, so I'm going to, now I know, I'm going to place my, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape off and I'm going to start again. Because what happens with this is that sometimes when you're using old tape, you end up, I don't know, it doesn't hold as well, or it's not in the right space, or it just doesn't stick there properly. What I do need is better scissors. Let's see here. Okay, so what I want is that. So, okay. Okay, so it was that line, and I said it was this line. And I'm going to push it just a hair more. Why? Because I want to. Now, is it, see, now I'm doing it right the way that I wanted to do the first time. I'm putting it just here, and then I'm going to put the tape there after. So, let me see. My tape looks, I feel like my tape has decided to just do its own thing here. Okay. You know, when tape kind of breaks off and then just kind of goes on its own. This one did this. It cut halfway through, and it doesn't much matter. As long as it sticks really well. I don't use like the clear, the transparent Scotch tape, because I find it's just not, you know the one I mean. It's not like this one. This one is, I think this one is clear. And then you have the one that's kind of like a fuzzy consistency. You can still see it. I find that it does not stick well enough. You could use duct tape, but again, that's very heavy. And when you're putting it down, it sometimes will change the line that you're on. So I find the lighter the tape, the better, but the stickier, the better. So now I'm going to do what I did before, because I've got it on both sides. Just making sure that this is exactly the way I want it. Oh, my tape just fell. Sometimes you're going to need to make adjustments. That's alright. That's alright. Okay. There you go. There you go. We have made some adjustments. Okay, okay, okay. Especially if you're not exactly on the line that you're looking for, you can end up making a few bobos. Okay? It's very important that it is as straight as you can possibly make it, especially on the second line, the second pass through. Why? You're going to say, Jane, why? Well, because that's when you're going to spot the difference when the deck is cut. Okay? So, okay, so now let's make sure that that is well put down. I'm losing my nail polish. It is leaving me. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to make sure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put now the card this way. Okay, this way, the side that was cut. And now I'm going to turn it around and see, there's a little bit more. I'm cutting off a little bit more than on the inside, but it looks pretty straight. It looks really straight. So that's good. That's what I want. So that's good. I'm going to go ahead and secure more tape if I can find it, because it might have rolled away. And by the way, if I'm sniffing a little bit, I do apologize. I'm just at the tail end of a cold. It kind of, well, cold, COVID, whatever, you know. Today, you never know what you have, but we just treat it, well, like I used to in the good old days, like a cold. Okay, so now I've got this long stringy piece of tape, of course, because my... So I'm just going to, doesn't matter, as long as it holds it down. And now we're checking to make sure that it's really stable where it is. And that it's really straight. See, you really want this part to be as straight as possible to car sits. Alright. So let's do it. Let's do the second side. Oops. And you're going to say, well, Jane, won't it show up at the top? Maybe. I really don't mind. I really don't mind much. Even though if it's a little bit more, it's okay. I'm okay with it. Okay? So if I put it over here, I'm going to show you what it'll show. Yeah, it'll be there and there. Do I really care? Not much. Not much. And if you don't read reversals, it doesn't much matter. I don't think it much matters anyway. For me anyway. If you wanted exactitude, you can measure it yourself on each side. I could have put it exactly the same as what I took off on one side, but I know I'm taking a little bit more. I'm okay with that. Now we're going to start cutting the sides. That. And pray that they are the same. Alright, so I will catch you. Let's see if that sits really nice. It does. Does it? Yes. Okay. First cut. There it is. See? And it is a little bit bigger. It's 1.5 times what I did. But if I wanted to, I could go the other side and cut off a little more if I wanted. Like I said, you can take off more if it really doesn't look right, which I find not a heck of a big difference for me. See, if you look at the back of it, it looks okay. And the front, who would know, right? Who would know where the picture ends or begins? So let's get her done. Actually, I'm going to put, because I don't want to get any strikes, I'm going to just put my headphones on and put a little bit of music and continue. Like I said, have fun with this. Actually, this is not the longest part. The longest part is the rounder cutting, and then after that it is the edging. That's going to take a while. So, and you have a lot of choices for edging, so. Alright, so let's put on some music and enjoy yourself. Like, honestly, have fun with this. Like I said, this is a project that's going to help you use the tool that you love using, that you enjoy using. Alright, so let's go. All right, look at that. We are done. Let's see. You know, I'd say that's pretty good. Like, the cards look pretty good. You want them as even as you can. There's a little bit of striations, but not that much. You want them as they're almost, I'd say they're pretty close to being cut like the original deck. And that's what you want. You want it as much as possible, as close to perfect. The reason is that when you decide to shuffle them, you don't want to be having a hard time. And look how nice. Apologies, I had to kind of stop it because I started coughing. Oh, I'll be so happy when this coughing is finished. Okay, so I'm going to throw out all of these little bits, recycled. Okay, so I'm quite happy with how that turned out. I love the fact. Now what I like to do is I turn the cards around, because it's when the cards get turned around that you see a difference. And no, it's pretty good. It looks pretty decent. So even when the cards get turned around, it should be all good. Now, it may not be perfect or 100%, but it should be close enough. The reason it's standing out is because some of these cards are shuffled a certain way. They bend very much to, as you can see, they've already got a bend in them. So, but trust me, when I put my finger here, there is no difference. They're good. Okay? So, now it's time to do the rounder corners, or the corner rounders. Now, as I said, I want to keep them pretty much like these. And look at that. They're pretty much almost the same size as these now, which is going to make my life a lot easier. And as you can tell, the images are fantastic. Nothing has been lost. I don't feel anything has been lost. So, and remember I said I didn't want to lose anything out of this image, the 3. Look at that. I got to keep it. So I'm very happy with that. All right. So let's begin doing these. Now that might get a little loud and boring, so I'm absolutely going to go faster with this. I've decided to keep to the large side. The funny part, little FYI, a funny part that I did is I cut only the bottom part of the deck once and did all the rounds at the top, or at the bottom, I guess. Wherever I cut, I did I rounded the corners, and I picked the one different than the top. So when the cards got reversed, they looked really funky. So I had to go back and cut them again, and then re-edge all the corners. This was fun. So please make sure that you are doing all 4 corners the same way. All right, so here we go. This is kind of long, but it's good. See? It's long, and it can be hard on the fingers because you're initially doing that 4 times each card, 78 cards. So, yeah. But it's so worth it, so beautiful when you're done, and it gives it a nice finish. So again, grab a drink, put on some tunes, and enjoy. right, so now that we're done, we're just going to make sure that the rounder corner didn't miss any, because sometimes it happens. Yeah, I see one here. So we're just going to you just fix it and you just check all the corners. Looks pretty good. Oh, you see what I mean? There's some that it's very obvious that it missed it. So just grab it, and it happens, you know. So there you go. But if you look, it gave it a nice finish. So now your deck is completed. You have made the modifications and you could go ahead and use it. I mean, there you go. It is newly modified and a lot more shuffleable? Is that a shuffleable, whatever. It's terrible. And the images are fantastic. Nothing, as far as I'm concerned, nothing's lost here. You can, all the images
what do we
are
do?
there. Do we want to do an edge for these cards? I think so. The reason I want to is that, look how beautiful it would look with an edge. Okay. It is just cardboard. It feels a little drab. It feels like not much. And just by doing this, you can see the cards are offering you some great options. Now this is like an orangey red, and of course you could do it in black as well. I think black would look good as well. Sometimes just a straight black would look very nice. I mean, you just have to do this and kind of hide it like that and see what the card would look like. So that's a possibility. Yeah, so we have choices. I am going to take some time. I'm not going to do this tonight because this is, frankly, gets, after a while, your thumb and stuff, and you might burn yourself out because this is kind of a long enough job. I mean, I've been probably doing this for an hour and you just don't realize just how much time you're spending here. So, and by far, the edge on it is going to take the longest so to do, because you have to go round and round and make sure that it's really well coated on the cardboard side. But I'm going to come back and show you this. It's going to be all in the same video, but it's just to show you from the beginning to end what you can do to make a deck, I don't know, more your own, right? Now this deck is going to be fun to use, for me anyway. It's because I do shuffling like this. Yes. And now, yeah, it's a lot friendlier, I find. I'm not sure. You know, do I want to do all black? Because the back is so colorful and the cards themselves are so colorful. I thought of doing red-orange, but I think that black might be, I think that black might just bring it all together. And yeah, let me take a moment to think it over. I'll come back with some options and then we'll start edging the cards. All right, so you won't feel a thing. I'll be back tomorrow to do it. I'll get some time. You just have to wait till the next section of this video. Look at that. If I had the patience, I think I'd do multiple colors. Wouldn't that be cool? To do like this and then black and then this and then black where the black is. Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, I don't know if I have that patience. Yeah, I don't know if I have the patience to do that. All right. Well, I will see you soon. Okay, so we are still the same day, surprisingly enough. I decided to take out some of the stuff that I have to do edging. Sharpie is the biggest one. I also have these that are highlighters that I was suggested, I think, midliner for somebody who did edging. There's also there was also paint pens that I used to have, but a lot of them dried up when you don't use them after a while, and I only had the fine tip, which is kind of aggravating. Really, I line these because they have a tip that's like this, and the big Sharpies are the optimal to do, the easiest, I would say. So we're still that's the contenders. I had this one that I like. These are like glitter, but this one is kind of dried up, and I don't want to fight it the whole way through to put it on. These are just other orange pens, red, smaller calibers that I had. So yeah, and I had a red of glitter also, a little bit hard. Okay, so I think with the blue, with this deck, it was actually a blue highlighter like this kind that did this color, so it was very nice. So, yeah, here we go. What I like to do is I like to make a very large section of that color and then kind of put the deck with it to see. So I'm going to show you that. I'm gonna do it with this one. And that's how I usually decide. I'll just color in a section and just kind of superimpose it on the deck. See? So I'll do that. And then you can kind of sort of see what that would look like. It's not bad, actually. It's a pretty good color match, and of course it's probably, actually that's pretty good. This would probably be really nice for me. It's not exactly, but there's a lot of different nuances of like fiery type deal. Okay, so let's try with the red now. Alright, and I'm just going to fold it a little bit. This is tricks that I've learned over time, because sometimes it's like you've got to see it to understand it. And I know it may look okay, it probably looks like it really matches here in the viewfinder, but in real life it's a little bit different. So I don't think red's gonna be, it's just too much. Okay, so let's try the orange. Oop. You know, it's not that different than the first one. It's just a little bit darker. You know, that one is pretty, it's pretty darn nice. Like, I like it. I like it. It's close. Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm not sure. Anyway, so let's try the black. Trusty old black here. My black is wearing down, so that's the only thing that I don't like, is that if I do black, I'm going to be fighting it the whole way to put it on. I've edged a lot of decks in black, especially if they have black backs. See, no, I don't think so. So that's good. I'm not, so black is out. This one is nice, but I think that one is out as well. So we've got the red which would make it really vibrant for sure. But I actually think that this is better. So let me look on these. Let me look at them again. We're down to 2, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. And it's still the same night. I guess I got a lot of energy. Let's see here. I've decided that I'm going to be using this one, which is this color right here. And if perchance it really doesn't do anything for me, I will just go through it again with the red and make it a little darker, because these are really the 2 colors that I like. And I know for some of you probably say the red. And you know, I don't know, it's not exactly red here, but it just feels, I don't know. We're going to start with one. I'm going to take a look, and then we're just going to keep going. You got to make a decision at one point, and that's what I'm choosing to do. This is going to take a while, like I said, but I think both these colors are pretty good. They've got a lot of ink in them, so it should be good. I'm just going to do it really quick. I'm going to explain what I do. Is why I do it on this side. I do it on the side, the back side, not the front side, because if it's going to bleed, I want it to bleed on this side. Okay? And you just develop a groove and you go around. And I like to do it twice and do the corners a lot. And check that you're still getting ink, because sometimes the ink dries up a little bit, or you're just not in the right way. And now you're going to ask, do you get any bleed through? Yeah, you do. What I do is I either get a paper towel or something after, and I just clean it up. Okay? Now some of you are going, well, Jane, why don't you just, you know, grab it and do them all in one shot? You know? Like, just grab it and just like, you know, color. What happens with that is that for some reason, a lot of the time, it's going to go into the card and bleed into the card. I don't know why. And then it makes a mess. And then your cards get all full of ink. And you want to avoid that. So I have learned that there is no quick to it, okay? Not for this, unless you have like ink stamps that you can dab, but even then I don't think you can do that with that either. So it's just one at a time. And you just put them aside and just keep going. And you should have no problems at all, okay? So I am not going to record all of these. I'm just going to do them, and then I'm going to come back, okay, when I am done to show you. And if I've decided to do them in bright red. All right? So here we go, and I will see you when I'm done. It won't take any time for you at all. Alright, so hello and welcome back. I'm going to show you in a minute what they look like, but I wanted to show you paper towel, and yeah, you expect to have a little bit of ink. You might want to wear gloves. I maybe should. I have some. I should. And you may want to wipe them. The reason I'm going to say this is depending on how much ink is in your Sharpie, you might have some bleeding through into the cards anyway. And in order to help with that, you just wipe where you put the ink, and you see it's going to just take off, and just wipe the side of the card while you're at it, like so. It may take the excess out and save your cards from looking like crap, right? That's the whole point. So as well, you may want to just lay them out or lay them around so that they can dry up. And in a moment when I'm done doing all of these, I'm going to show you what they look like, what the color looks like, because I've got quite a few done. And I think I'm going to stick to this color. This color is going to be good for me. Okay, so here we go. So like I said, see, after a while you see that it's coming off. So just keep a paper towel handy and just wipe off the excess after you're done coloring your cards. this is, like I said, by far the longest. You might have to do that, and it won't ensure that you're not going to have any bleed through even after. It may take a while for the cards to dry up. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and this one, this is what I mean. See at the top? You may still have some of that because it's a cardboard edge, right? So it's going to absorb a lot, but you can wipe off a lot of it. See? I wiped off a lot of it. So you can get it off while you're doing it. See? You can get it. I kept that one so that you guys could see. And then no harm done, right? No harm done. So there you go. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like with the color that I have chosen. You see it? And then you see. Okay. So it looks very, very nice. It looks very nice with the highlights. I like it very much. So this was the appropriate color for this, I find, this deck. And now I'm going to let them dry. They may feel a little sticky for a while. You may want to wet your rag too a little bit. Just make sure that you wipe off whatever is really wet. You don't want to leave it on the card so that the card warps. Okay? But I like to do that. If I feel any sticky parts on the cards, I just wet it down a little bit and then get it off. That's it. Because you don't want your cards to stick. You want them to shuffle and, you know, be very slippery when they shuffle, especially if you do jumpers like I do. So you don't want these cards. So I like to check, make sure that there's no sticky edges. My fingers are very sticky right now with this stuff. So, like I said, probably should get gloves. I might do that and continue on, and I will come back and show you the finished, okay? But so far, yeah, I love the way it looks. I did enough to see that the color really matches into the cards here. It just kind of really goes in. Now you can be a completely different color. You can do whatever you like, but you know, they're your cards. It's an individual choice. So here we go. We are almost at the finish of this. Well, for you anyway. You're almost at the end of this video. I still have all of these to do. I'll see you soon. it's official. I'm done. I just got up and washed my hands because they were orange. The camera makes them look red, but they're okay. Yeah, I just washed all that off. I think you see a little bit of orange left here. I just used Castile soap. Definitely use gloves. I just didn't. So just to give you, this is all the stuff I wiped off the cards with the paper towel. So it's, yeah, it looks like a bad art project. And now these are all done. I put them this way so that they're not touching each other and they kind of dry off a little bit. But I'm going to put them all back together now, for now, to show you the final result of what it looks like. And then we're also going to check to see if there's spots that were missed, because that's important too, right? And this project will be done. Just to give you a little bit of an idea how long it took, I'm actually up past 1 in the morning. I started this at around, I guess, 8. I took maybe an hour off. So I took, it was at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 30. So I took about an hour. We'll put an hour, yeah. That took about 4 hours to do. And by far the edging was the worst part. That's the paper towel. Hold on. Okay. It looks pretty good. Oh. There's a few spots here. So then you just grab, if you really look, you see it right there. See? That may happen. You may have forgotten a few places. I see a few. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this up and do a little touch-up. This should be okay. Okay, just... Oh, what? Okay, why did it... okay. I don't know why it's giving me a hard time, but there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. There. Touch up. And there's a little bit here that we're going to do. And then there's a few spots here. And there you go. All gone. And then take a look. Oh, that's the only thing about when you use paper towels. Sometimes you get like little remnants. But other than that, this is insane coverage. It did very well. It did very, very, very well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that paper towel, and now that I have them all together, I'm going to just give it a quick rub. Now, this doesn't ensure that there won't be any, like, bleeding through. There might, okay? Still. But it looks pretty good. It doesn't seem to be coming off very much. Is that towel again? Yeah, okay. So, this is the final, this is what it looks like. And yeah, you've got to invest some time to doing things. But while I did that, I was watching a favorite YouTuber. You know, I like people who stealth camp and stuff like that. So I was watching that. And I just like people who find solutions for themselves, you know, like they have a great idea. And look at this deck. It looks, I mean, the corners are fantastic. It's not all wonky or anything. It looks like it still looks like a professional deck as far as I'm concerned. It's very nice. It's very pretty. It feels complete and beautiful. And what I'm going to do is I am going to fan it out again, let it dry completely overnight. And this deck is ready to be just used and loved and beautiful. it does have a little bit of, you know, it's because it's I wouldn't call it sticky, I just call it, see, like they're coming out together, but that's because I've just done it. Once it's dried overnight, it should not have any of that. That's why I'm fanning them together like this. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's ready to go. And I can utilize the beauty of this deck. There you go. It came in reverse, so it's officially unblocked. It's officially open for business, ready to found the solution to having it be everything that it can be. Now remember, it will bleed out a little bit, so you might have to clean off your hands. It's not that bad. It's some of this is, but as it dries, it should be a lot better. Okay. There you go. This has been a tutorial about a deck mod of a much loved deck that just needed a little bit of tweaking, and I hope it's been helpful. And let me know what you thought in the comments. Now I've got to edit all of these parts and put them together with cute little music, cute little crossover stuff. This is going to be fun. Anyway, I'm off to bed. Take care of yourself, and well, I will see you later. Let's fan this sucker out and let it dry overnight, and that'll be that. So tell me if you're enjoying this channel. Please share it. And let others know that I'm here, especially if they're spiritual folk and they like this kind of stuff and you think that they'd enjoy the content here. I'd appreciate you sharing it and passing it on. We spiritual folk have to stick to each other. For myself, I'm a life path advisor, and I have a life path number channel as well, where I do readings weekly, and I also offer some PDFs with your life path numbers. I offer reading with life path numbers, and I also have a beautiful Pisces channel where some of these people have transferred here, where I do weekly Pisces reading, because you guessed it, I'm a Pisces and I want to see Pisces succeed, because I think Pisces are truly beautiful and spiritual folks. I think that a lot of water signs are usually. But you know, it's not reserved to us completely. Everybody has a chance to be really beautiful, spiritual beings. And that's the part I want to play. That's the role I want to be in this lifetime. So there you go. These are fanned out. I'm going to leave them overnight. And I'm going to leave you until the next video. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you later. Bye for now.